Hey,
Hi.
back again.
Back again. Welcome to the second episode
Yeah.
of our chat about all things design.
Yeah, at Locum's Nest.
At Locum's
What?
Nest. So I remember we ended the first episode with
The journey of the card.
the journey of the card and how it is we felt when we were first starting and still feel that it is important to care about the user and show that. And you brought that word up, which is empathy.
Yes.
And it reminded me of my medical school days where it was there were whole exams on empathy, and you were assessed on how you show empathy.
Yeah.
But really, I think it is something that we truly show. And
For sure, totally in the space. I mean, like my first brushes with health tech design, I remember coming away just feeling like, why is everything so cold and just kind of super clinical? And I understand it's the language of medical doctors and the profession, but at the end of the day, it's all about care, right?
Yeah, and it's about caring for the people that care for us.
Yes.
And we're seeing it day in,
Massively.
day out, and of course with the pandemic, it was even more evident how key workers help. But at the end of the day, boring or going with the easy route in any digital product design, and using templates or not applying proper thinking behind any design, that is not necessarily caring, not necessarily showing empathy, and dare I say, when it comes to our job, negligent, right? And of course, the impact isn't the same, but
it's important.
It is important,
Massively.
So my question to you is, how do you translate empathy, which you've witnessed as a patient, you've witnessed as a father? How do you translate the empathy that you've been shown by healthcare professionals onto the digital products that they're using and that you have the privilege of designing?
Yeah, I think it was something for me that I felt we had to do it, and it wasn't us just trying. Well, it wasn't me trying to just find some kind of cool USP that we could say, oh, we actually care, but it was genuinely important in the whole design process for me, from what we was designing for doctors to use, and also for the fact that helping doctors to feel less stressed so they could do their job better. And then at the end of the day, then the general population gets doctors who feel better about themselves, and then therefore give them better. And it sounds, to some people, it might sound like this far-fetched dream, but I just felt it was just imperative that we helped find a way to inject empathy. And empathy in design for me was creating experiences for the doctor that was simple to use, that removed a lot of the kind of heavy lifting and paperwork, on the back end, because they're busy, and I can
right. And so caring in that sense is not just saying it. If anything, I can probably say with confidence here that we don't say anywhere in the mobile app that we care for you, because that's meaningless, it's useless, right? But what we do is simplify processes. So, as you said, keeping things simple, keeping things functional, and saving people time.
Yes.
All right. That is, in the context of booking a shift, important. And I want us to go back to the first experience a user has with the app. So when they first download the app, because that is, to me, and still is, revolutionary, the way we've gone about doing it. Would you like to describe the process? what do? You download the app. What happens?
So you download the app, and then you're confronted with kind of he's become our signature. Well, he's our mascot. Is Dr. Albert,
The owl, right?
Yeah,
Yes.
the owl, and he's kind of like this. I think he embodies. I know it sounds silly, but he embodies what we try to, what we've tried to carry through the process was a sense of, this is going to be fine, and let me take you by the hand and
Yes.
lead you through this.
Personal touch.
Yeah, it's a
that,
personal
of course,
touch.
you see it through the cartoon, but
Yeah.
that's us
Yes.
talking, right?
And that's us reaching out to you
Yes.
and saying, hey, walk with us. This is going to be
In a
easy.
light-hearted way.
Yeah.
In a light-hearted way, with a few jokes there, because why should it be boring? You're booking a shift, you're not,
But on that, it also was, like I said, what we've, one of the things that I've come to know that our users range from the fresh out of medical school, on Instagram, all over Facebook,
27-year-olds, yeah?
who get digital, and then there's the 65-year-old, GP who's been a family doctor for years and probably still has a Nokia 3310. We
Yeah.
and then they might come into our product. So it was it's all about leading our users by the hand and giving them a sense that we're offering them a better solution,
Making it simple.
Yeah.
Right, for whoever you are.
Exactly.
And inclusive, right?
Yeah.
Whoever you are. Whether you are, whether the phone is an extension of your hand,
Yeah.
or whether you're a technophobe and you're
Yeah.
not really used to these sort
Yeah.
of things. And you see a whole spectrum. And actually, our oldest user is over 80.
See?
And
that's the test.
Exactly,
Yeah.
and they can use the app
Yeah.
without special guidance or training other than what the owl provides.
It's like what you said earlier, empathy. Like, we don't mention this word anywhere
Yes.
through for our product, but we know that empathy comes through. True empathy comes through in different ways, and that's exactly like the experience we offer, the language we use, the design we use.
And the attention to detail.
Exactly.
I'll come back to that. I want to talk about what happens when you download the app first, and we call it the onboarding process. And I remember as a doctor, I really hated the endless forms, the endless registration processes, and it was essential when the first version of the app was developed to sort that out and solve it. So it was the first requirement I gave ourselves, to say, okay, I download the app, within 50 seconds, I need to be in.
Yeah.
Right? I don't need to receive activation codes from an unknown hospital person. And there is a clear answer, right? The professions, the healthcare professions, are so well regulated. Every professional has a registration number. In the case of doctors, a GMC number. Why not use that as the identification that will let you into the app? And that's what we did, right?
And that for me was like, and I remember going, beep, that's just mega. I swore, so I bleeped it, but I remember, because it says, this allows us to offer security to the hospital, security to the doctors, and it allowed us to just breeze through which could be a mega complicated.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So what happens? Only compliant, licensed clinicians go through, but they go quickly through it. And then you go through some other more advanced processes down the line. Once we've convinced you that we're worthy of your time, and that is empathy and caring. Assuming that I have your time as a user is arrogance. So I need to gain your trust. I need to convince you that I'm worthy. And that's how the app and the owl, that's how they handle the user. You do bits at the beginning, which are quick. And then when it comes to actually going down the route of booking and working a shift, you do need to run through some compliance checking. But that's done later, right?
But by that point, you said, I want to use the product, so therefore you're much more willing to give us what we need.
Yes.
Because because like you said, it was a give and take. It's like, okay, we allow you in, have a look, and then, and it was establishing, okay, this is something I want to use.
And you know what happens, right?
Yeah.
What happened? People gave us their time, and we've seen the user base grow exponentially.
Massive, yeah.
Right? So like that, people download, register, sign up, and then pass through compliance quickly and painlessly through, of course, the digital passport that we pioneered, right?
And then we did, so, and even in the digital passport, which is kind of your digital, well, it's your body of documents that you acquire through your medical history, and we even experimented with that with one of the earlier versions where we had kind of almost a kind of scale on how many documents, and we found that people actually became quite competitive and wanted to
fill more than they needed to,
more than
which of course we had to retire as a feature down the line, and so that's very interesting, right? It is the concept of earning your time.
But exactly, so that's a feature we decided was not necessary because we felt it was adding stress to our users. Unnecessary stress.
Let's go back now to the concept of attention to detail.
Yeah.
Right, and here I want to pause and say that it is not just you and me that develop the app.
Sure.
Right? There's a whole team of very, very capable engineers. There's a team of quality assurance engineers that test and make sure that it's functional. All those devices that are being used by doctors, and there is a technology strategy behind the app that makes sure that it's scalable, it's safe, and easy to use, bug-free, right? Now,
the proper wizards.
So Locum's Nest is the product team is not just the product designers, it's the whole company. And what we do really well, and because I left one group of people out to just single them out and discuss how they influence the product, is the frontline team at Locum's Nest, who are, by the way, former doctors, former rota coordinators, HR directors, all of that. So they know, they understand the users, but also the users themselves.
Sure.
And I think it is important to stress, and we always make sure we do that we collect. We are not afraid of feedback. That's number one, right? Suggestions, feedback, and we actually, through the app, through your designs, you make it easy for somebody, and we give feedback, and we actually ask for feedback, right? So it's easy through the app to speak to Ellie, who manages support and instantly responds to questions if there are any. It is easy to go and read up a specific FAQ articles through the app. The app itself has algorithms that help you use it if you have a query with your timesheet, etc. But it also asks you to give anonymous feedback. And of course, on the other end, you have the focus groups, the discussions that we frequently conduct and have with our users just to get their ideas. And a lot of the features, a lot of the development was done were ideas of our users, right? And that is again showing that you care.
Well, listening. We are listening,
right? And then the other element of caring is to not sit still. So our users, you know this very well, that we cycle through all the features that we have through a year. We cycle through them and improve them, right? Based on experience that we gain and data.
But we've always kind of had I mean, going back to a word that we mentioned and it's bandied around a lot, you know, between us types of people is future proofing, and it was something we always had kind of like in our head, you know, the most amazing feature, and then it's a matter of kind of, as you know, working to that. So we've never really kind of closed off any feature or any, and why should we?
All feedback is welcome.
Exactly.
And it's all a good idea. Everything is a good idea unless proven otherwise.
Yeah.
And I think that's the mentality
Exactly.
yeah.
And we've become really good at kind of differentiating between subjective feedback, which is kind of one person's kind of world view on how things should work, and you know, objective feedback, which is like, actually that's really good quantitative you know, information. And usually we find that it's not just one person, but there's a few people, and there's that kind of like-mindedness between that, you know, and they understand.
Exactly.
So, and then we act upon it, and we've become very quick at acting, and, you know, kind of being agile.
Well, it goes back to your the first episode where you set some rules in the design there, so they can always be followed quickly and easily.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people might not know this, but we're currently in the third version of the app, right? So app 3.0. And there, this was developed during the pandemic.
Yeah.
And we took it to the next stage. We took emphasis on the well-being of the exhausted profession.
Yes.
To the next level. So consciously developed a series of features that would help and support the well-being of our frontline heroes.
Yeah.
Right, which we will discuss in the third episode. Oh. So cliffhanger, everybody. But we will discuss in the next episode App 3.0.
Yeah, brilliant. See you later, guys.